Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we're going to be taking a look at SUQQU Holiday, and they released their pre-holiday last month. Now they've released their holiday collection. I know it can get a little confusing, but what they did differently this time is there are two kits available, two sets, and you can only purchase them in sets. So this was gifted to me by SUQQU. And this one is set B. I also ordered set A myself and purchased that one, but it has not arrived yet. So when that arrives, I will put that up. But I've been playing with SUQQU set B. And one of the things that really drew me into these sets in particular is they have a new item. So this is what the set looks like. You can see you've got the sparkly package here, just like what's on the pre-holiday. So see the sparkle on the lid. Okay, so it goes through the top half, back half is the normal black. And I have quad 111. So that's this one here. It is so pretty. So we have a topper and we've got some like satin, shimmer shades, mattes, everything. So this here is your topper and it looks kind of like buttery yellow in the pan, but going on, you can see it's really going to be, it's not quite so yellow. It's not as warm. So this kit, according to SUQQU, I cannot say the name properly in Japanese, but it's moon gray and calendula orange. And it's featuring a celestial gold shimmer, vivid calendula flower orange, green pearl, and smoky khaki. This palette is a perfect tool for a natural but chic winter eye. So these are the shades. To me, this looks more like a very, very pale soft butter. I don't know if any of you have made your own butter before, but when it's just starting to get to that stage, it kind of gets this really pale yellow look. Or if you're making like lemon curd or something, you know, when it's starting to get a little bit, starting to turn. So that's this one. You can see it's shimmery. It can look a little bit frosty if you pile it on, but it's really going to be more of a topper shimmer. And then this one here, to me, this is really more of like, I call it a mouse gray. It's kind of like that soft, worn, like soft, warm brown, like with just a touch of gray in it. So it's going to be a little bit cooler in tone. Then we have this bright orange. I mean, it's a true pumpkin orange. So it's really pretty. I was very nervous about this shade, but look at the way these things blend out. I mean, you can see the undertones and everything here. Very, very soft. And this deepest shade here, you can see the shimmer. You can see here that this is like a really deep forest green, but when you spread it out, you know, there is going to be more of that grayish brown base to it. So if you spread it out, you're going to get less green. If you pile it on, you're going to get more green, but it is a very pigmented shade. So this is one you're getting a lot of power from. Next in the kit, we have a mini lip glow. So this is going to be half the size of the original. This is the regular full-size packaging. This is the one from the holiday kit, and they are exactly half. So 6.6, 3.3 grams. And just wanted to show you how they compare with the actual like wands and so forth. And this shade, by the way, that I'm holding up in the lip glow is 103, which was a limited edition shade. But you can see here that the actual like applicator on the wand is going to be the same size. They seem to have the same amount of flexibility and feeling when you put them on. So I know sometimes when you are working with like a mini lipstick, particularly like mini glosses and things like that with an applicator, they just feel more awkward using them on the lips. It doesn't feel the same. And that's not true with this. This feels like a full-size product. So I actually really like this size because it's so hard to go through everything that I have. It's great to have smaller sizes. And this shade here, by the way, is going to be an orange. So it's like an orangey brown. This is shade 107. Again, it's going to be limited edition, and it's a rich brown toned orange that gives the lips a healthy warmth. So to me, you know, I see a little bit of red. I see that pumpkin orange, and I see a smidge of brown. So it's like more like a reddish brown mixed with orange. And then moving on, this is the new item. I was really excited to see this. So this is 5.4 grams. By the way, all of these items are made in Japan. I have already destroyed what this looks like, but in the demos, you'll see it looking more pristine. But this is the Moon Gleam highlighter and blush. So they don't have this product in the permanent line. I don't know if it will be coming to the permanent line, but there's this shade here in Kit B, and Kit A has another shade. So this one here is shade 102. It's Luster Beige and Mellow Brown. And it says the Gold Pearl highlighter gives the skin an even glow, while the rich blush enhances the cheek's natural contours. So I have worn these separately and I've worn them mixed together. So you can take a look at the demos to see them. These are the two shades on their own. Let's put them here. And these have such a creamy consistency. They feel so like silky going on the skin. But what's really interesting about them is they like dry down. You don't feel them on the skin at all. Even when you pile it on, there's absolutely no like texture to it on the skin. Like if you're running your hands over it, you cannot feel where the product is on your skin. There's no tackiness, no nothing. And this happens like instantly. It's not like, oh, put it on 30 seconds later, it dries down. Like it feels like that. Like if you're tapping it on within like 5 seconds or so, you're feeling that it's gone. So it's really such a nice texture. So I think these are really pretty. I like this highlighter. There is a little bit of shimmer in the highlighter. It's not a lot. You can see there's not a ton of sparkle there, but there is a little bit. And this one is really more of like a champagne shade. And I know they're calling it like Luster Beige, but to me, there's a little bit, I can see a little yellow, but I can also see a little bit of a rosiness depending on the way the light hits it. So I think that's really interesting, but it is going to be more of a beigey champagne shade in general. But I would say that it's more champagne than beige. The actual blush you can see is going to be this really pretty like brown shade with a touch of rose in it. There is like a pinkish base to it. So I think it's a really beautiful shade, very natural looking. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the demos, then we'll come back and do some comparisons. All right, so we are taking the Tsukikague Z11. I have the Vizier Eye Primer on. We're going into this shade here, which looks kind of, you know, kind of like a soft mouse brown. But there is like, I don't know, there's like the faintest hint of like, I don't know, like a pea green in there. I mean, this shade, really, you could just wear this completely on its own. But we're going to go ahead. We're taking the Z11, just dab down my cloth a little into the orange. And I'm going to put this right here in the outer corner. And I'm just trying to get this very soft. I don't want a ton of pigment there. Orange is probably not my best shade. I'm going to take the Fude Japan. This is the one that, it's the Fude Japan large eyeshadow brush. We're going to go into the deep green down here. Ooh, look at that. Just going to pat over the edges of that orange. Wiping off that brush, going into this pale, like yellow shade here. It's like a yellow ivory. It actually, it looks more white when you put it on, but it looks almost like a pale butter shade. Just getting a little bit more, gonna just blend that into the green a little bit more. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this brush, I wiped it off, and I'm just softly spreading this over. It's just spreading a tiny bit of the sparkle. Okay, just going into the crease with this. And that's gonna be it. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna use a bit of the, you know, actually I don't wanna keep it dark. We're gonna go back into the mousy brown. using the smudger one, or no, it's a builder one. Sorry, this is builder one from SUQQU. And I'm just going to get a little bit of the butter shade for the inner corner. For the upper lash line, I'm taking the Victoria Beckham eye cudgel in Cocoa and just smudging this along the lash line here. All right, so I'll add some mascara to that. Before we move on though, let's move in with the cheeks. And we're going to move into the blush first. So I have on the Sisley, Sislea Le Temp foundation in 0R. And I don't have any powder or anything on. So this is just a little bit of product with the finger. And then I'm just gonna get a little bit of the product here on this brush. I'm actually trying not to ruin the writing too much, but this is the GSM, I think it's the GSM 5. Yep, GSM 5 from Tsukikage. So here's the blush. You can see it's got this like luminous quality to it, but I have to say you can't feel it at all. There's no like stickiness or tackiness. You know, it feels completely dry. Just gonna add a little bit more. All right, just gonna get a little bit of the highlight here. Just tapping that on right here. That's pretty. I'm just gonna use a touch of that right here above the brow. All right, and let's take a close look at the lips. All right, so here's the lip glow. And this is the final look from a distance. So yeah, I have to say I like it. I wasn't sure how this lip glow would look on me, but you know what? I kind of like it. And I think everything looks nice. This highlighter, you can see, like, I really like the amount of glow from the highlighter. I can't wait to play more with these eyeshadows. So I'll see you soon. All right, so I took off that eye look. I actually applied the blush and highlighter mixed now. Let me know what you guys think of that. And then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit more plain. So I'm taking the SUQQU Pencil 2 and I'm going into the orange shade here. And we're going to put this just right along the lash line. Just going to smudge this a little bit. And let's actually add a little bit more. I wasn't sure how dark it would be. You know, actually, this would look really nice then, just putting the gold topper on there, but I wanted to try something else. Actually, let's go ahead. We'll do this on both eyes and do something different on each. Now I'm taking the Fude Japan eyeshadow brush. Let's start with the light topper shade. This is the butter. Just going in with another layer here. And I'm kind of tapping this on to kind of make it a little bit more opaque. I mean, that's just really pretty. You could do that with the green on the bottom as well. Here, you know what? Let's go over the orange with the green so we can see that. But first, well, no, let's just do that first. All right, so just gonna cover up that orange here with the green. All right, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit more of this topper so it goes on top. I mean, that's just really pretty. I really like that. And then I also wanted to use more of this. I'm just going to call it mouse brown. It's like a brown gray, but it's like soft, kind of like moleskin type color. I'm going to put this on top. I just think this shade in particular is a beautiful one and done. And I wanted to see how it paired with the orange. And you know, that'd be pretty just with a little bit of the orange on the outer corner or the inner corner, either one actually. And just this like this shade all over that. So you can see that that has some opacity so that the orange is kind of covered up a little bit. Let's go ahead and add just a little bit more of the orange here. Really pretty. I really like this. Let me show you from a distance. So here are the eyes from a distance. And again, you can use the dark green or the orange, you know, either way, depending whether you want something cooler, the green's cooler, or the orange is warmer. I think, you know, they're just really great to use in this particular fashion. Okay, so I'm a little cold. That's why my nose is red and everything, but I just added the Surratt Perfectionist Primer. We're going to start off with the SUQQU Concealer, and I don't know if they have another lighter shade now, but when I purchased this, this was the lightest, shade 21. And this is the Sonia G Soft Concealer Brush. Put a little bit of this on. This concealer is a little bit dark for me, so I like to put it on underneath. And you can see, look at that shade there. It's like, it's peachy. It's a little bit too deep. Not really. All right, so we're going to take the SUQQU Cream Foundation. I love the formula of this. They now have lighter shades in this, so I think there would be a better shade match for me. But, you know, I still have like this much left, so I didn't want to purchase more until I use up some of the foundations I already have. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, and I'm using the Refer foundation brush number 31 that just came out. And I like how this is angled here, so I can put that right under the eye. And this is not a bad foundation match for me. It's just half a shade to a shade too deeper than what I would like. But this actual foundation formula is incredible. It's one of my favorites because it really feels like a moisturizer and it provides coverage. It's like, has a natural dewy finish. So it's like dewy, meaning like moisturized, but not, you know, it doesn't have that dewy wet look to it. And you can see that the finish on the skin is more of like a hydrated natural look compared to, you know, some others. It's similar in finish to the Cocoa Moisture Foundation, which is one of my favorites. I do get more coverage though from the SUQQU. All right, so there it is. All right, so I'm gonna use a brush. This is the Kyoto Fupa. I think it's a 07. It's the mini version. And this is just, I'm getting a little bit of the blush on here. And just kind of stamping this on. I mean, it's just a really beautiful formula and finish. I'm actually going to go into the highlight with the same brush I used for the concealer. This is the soft concealer from SUQQU. Put a little bit of this on. And I turned the brush, so I'm wiping now with the side that does not have the product. I'm going to use my finger though. Look at that. So there's a little bit of shimmer, but really it's mostly more of like a sheen. But you can see even in here, there's a little bit of a pearly finish to it. So there is a touch of sparkle. So just beware if you don't like any sparkle. There is a little bit in here. All right, so we're gonna go in with this mouse brown shade with the SUQQU soft shader. I have the Viseart eye primer on, and I'm just gonna put this kind of all over the lid. So I've got that part there. I just wanna see the differences with pigmentation with the finger. So you can see you get more pigment, but I feel like the sheen is different where the brush is. You see a little bit more of like this, like, it kind of looks gold on my eye, but when I look at it in the pan, it looks silver. But you can see like more of a, like a shimmer. I mean, this is just a really pretty, easy one and done kind of look or color. Really pretty. Just gonna take a touch of the dark green and just getting a little bit on my brush. I'm gonna just dab this here in the outer corner for some depth. So I'm just wiping off the brush and just gonna feather that in a little bit more. Just want to mute it a little bit. And then a little brightening in the inner corner, just with this lighter shade. And it's just a little frosty there. So look, depending on what angle you hit for the light, you either see a little bit of that frost or you really just don't. And lower lash line going into this light brown using the Builder one from SUQQU. Okay, and nothing on this. This is a Tsukikaguya Z11, and just, you know, kind of going through the crease, but I did not add any product. So just a really light kind of neutral look, and something that might be fun. I mean, honestly, probably most days I just leave it like this, but let's just put a pop of the orange in the inner corner just to kind of play around a little bit. So let's see here. This is the SUQQU, what is this? The Pencil 2. Interesting. So here's that. I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting, but I'm going to go ahead and put this yellow sparkle on top of it so it muted a little bit more. I don't think I really like the orange there that much. All right, so there's that. And I think for the lash line, let's go ahead and I'm going to go back in with this Builder one. And I'm going to line the upper lash line with the dark green. All right, so I'm just going to finish my makeup. I'm going to add the lip, and I'll see you in a second. And this is the final look from a distance. All right, so I hope that was helpful. We're gonna start off with some eyeshadow swatches. And I don't have a ton of comparisons. I don't have a quad with this color story, but this is kind of my closest. This is SUQQU. This is the older formula. This is the Designing Color Eyes. This was palette 133. And this is a palette I absolutely love. So let me just show you. You can see that this one's gonna be more yellow. You can see that the orange shade is more coppery. We have this bright orchid, and then here's the green. So the difference is this is gonna have a bit more blue in it, whereas this green has more brown. Moving on, this is from the SUQQU Permanent line. This is number 6. We're just gonna go ahead and swatch the whole palette, but you can see that this white shade here is gonna be like a brighter, more vibrant white. They are still gonna be a topper. This brown is gonna be more pigmented, and it's a little bit, kind of wanna say warmer, but not exactly. This here is the green, which again is gonna have a little bit more brown in it, whereas this has more of that blue-green appearance. And then this one here is actually a slate blue. And this is a SUQQU quad number 5. We're just going to look at this one here and compare it to the soft brown. You can see the difference in tone there and in pigmentation level. And then this is palette 104 from the SUQQU Summer Collection. We're just going to take a look at this orange shade here. And let's put the orange shade right there. You can see, first of all, that this orange, the new one, is a matte, whereas this other one is more of a satin. They do have a similar tone, but the new matte is slightly more vibrant, but they are similar. I have to say, this palette, this 104 palette, totally looks like colors I would not like, but I love the way this looks on the eyes. It's a fantastic palette. It was limited edition. If you got it, good, you know, you were lucky. But I think this new palette here, I really like the colors. I like how versatile it is. I love this like mouse brown shade. I really like all 4 of the shades. I didn't think I would like the orange one so much, but I really do. I think it really adds like some extra pop to the palette that, yeah, maybe you'll use sometimes, maybe you won't, but I think it's just something a little unexpected. And because it's in that matte formula, I think it's a little bit easier to make it more understated and, you know, really work well with the other colors without being like a huge pop. Let's move on to lip product comparisons. So this is a SUQQU Vibrant Rich Lipstick in 111. This one I think is more like a, yeah, it's more red. So here's the lipstick. Okay, and again, this is the Lip Glow. And let's take a look at another lip glow. I don't have any quite like it. This is 104, which was another limited edition shade. This is gonna be more, yeah, it's more berry. And this one's 102. So this is my orangiest looking one. I don't have a lot of orange comparisons because it's not a color I wear much. So this is 104. This is the new one, which I believe is 107. Yes, 107. You can see 107 has a lot more brown in it compared to 104. This is the Lip Fog in 104. The Lip Fog is the more matte finish to it. So put that right here. You can see that they're going to be a little bit more similar. This is actually going to be slightly more brown. Let me get it a little bit. Let's see here. There. So this is the 104 Lip Fog versus the 107 Lip Glow. They're pretty close. There's just slightly more orange in the 107, and obviously the finish is different, but they're pretty close. We're gonna re-swatch this 107 here. So here's a new swatch, and we're gonna look at some Lisa Eldridge as well. So I wanna start off with the Dragon Gloss, which I'll put that right here. You can see Dragon, much more vibrant, not so much brown. There's actually a touch of pink or red in the Dragon Gloss. And then let's take a look at Cinnabar in the gloss. You can see it's got more burgundy in it comparatively. Here's the Cinnabar lipstick. Again, that's gonna kind of go better with the gloss. There's a little bit more red in there. And the Dragon lipstick, which you can see is gonna be more orange. So let's move on to the highlighter, and we're gonna start off with the Say highlighter in Star Glow. Let's put that right next to it. Ugh. Sorry, this is a little squirty. So here's Star Glow. Let me take off some of that here. So Star Glow versus the SUQQU. Color is pretty close. I feel like there's a little bit more pink, actually, a little bit more of like a a warmer rose tone to the SUQQU. You can see that it's splattered over these swatches. I'm just going to leave that there, but sorry about that. And then let's move on to the Surratt Diamante. So here's Diamante. This is one of my favorite highlighters. Let me put the SUQQU right next to that. All right, so here's the SUQQU and here's Diamante. I built Diamante up. It's a little bit easier to go softly with Diamante. Again, I think the SUQQU has a little bit more of that warm rose tone to it, but they are incredibly close. If you have Diamante from Surratt, they are very, very close. The only difference is really going to be the formulation of it, and the finish is a little bit different. You can see that we have more of like, the SUQQU gives you more of like a bright sheen on your face with a touch of sparkle, whereas the Surratt is giving you more like of a dispersed pearly effect. And the last one I wanted to compare is the Rituel de Fille in Ice Bow. This is one of my favorite cream highlighters. Let's just put this right here. And you can see that's here. This is going to be cooler in tone. You can see a little bit of like pink and blue in that. So that one really doesn't go. Now, I don't have a ton of blush comparisons either, unfortunately. This shade is not going to match. This is the Cle de Peau in number 4, Perfect Peach. But I do want to show you the finish is similar between the two of them. I do feel like the SUQQU has a bit more transparency, sheerness on the cheeks, but texturally they're very similar. And yeah, I think they both have a similar texture on the skin. Although I feel like the SUQQU, I truly don't feel anything while I'm starting to apply it. And I feel like the Cle de Peau, I get that feeling also, but it takes a little bit longer. It's not a positive or negative for either one. It's just a slight difference between them. Now, this cream blush, this is one of the Armani, the Neo Nude Color Melting Bombs or Melting Color Bombs. And this is shade 20, Cool Brown. We're going to put this right here so you can see the difference in the tone. Again, formula-wise, this feels like more like silky on the skin, like a little bit more of like that silicone texture. It's going to dry down as well so that you don't really feel it, but it's not quite the same texturally as that. But you can see that the SUQQU has a little bit more of that reddish tint to it than the Armani does. All right, so we are going to, we'll put some more blushes down here. This is the SUQQU. Just going to blend this out here so you can see what that looks like. And then we're going to look at a few powder blushes as well. This is going to be the Chanel in Jersey. And it's a classic shade, favorite for many people. Look at that. So you can see that Jersey is going to have more pink in it, even when it's like worn out. There's a little bit more brown in the SUQQU. They definitely look a lot more different when they are, you know, full strength, but on the face even, Jersey is going to be like pinker. This is Pat McGrath's Desert Orchid. And let's put that one right here. Again, this one's going to be, I mean, it's actually a bit warmer. There's more yellow in here than the SUQQU. Don't quite go. And then Pat McGrath in Paradise Venus. This is such an interesting color. I love this shade. So it's so different. You can see though that this is really more like terracotta red compared to the SUQQU. So I don't really, you know, again, it's kind of a new color for me, so I don't have anything quite like it. But these are all of my comparisons for this collection. Now, as for my thoughts, I absolutely love this set. I think it is awesome. When I first saw that SUQQU was coming out with these sets, I was a little disappointed because I wanted to be able to mix and match. But I'm kind of happy now that I got out of my comfort zone and tried some things that I wouldn't have picked up, because originally I wanted to pick up the blush and the lipstick from Kit A and the eyeshadow from Kit B. And now I'm going to end up with both sets. I'm sure I'm going to love Kit A probably too. I've already seen swatches of it and it looks really pretty. So if the formulas, you know, if everything lines up with Kit B formula-wise, it's going to be really nice. But Kit B, you know, it got me out of my comfort zone with the colors. And there's something about SUQQU shadows where even when you think the color's not going to work for you, it looks better than you could have possibly expected. All of the SUQQU items, they always look better in person than they photograph. And so, you know, I highly recommend them. I love this set. And again, as I said, originally I wasn't a fan of the idea of having the sets, but I really appreciate having this as a set now that I've tried it, because I think it was a great way to push me out of my comfort zone, and these colors really work really well together. So I'm very happy with it. I love this new product with the Moon Gleam highlighter and blush duo. I hope they make more of these. I cannot wait to try the other one. I just think these are great. And by the way, it looks like it's refillable. So I think that is something nice about this. And I really like this packaging. So these are refillable as well on the eyeshadows. And just to note, these are 6.2 grams. So as I mentioned before, everything is made in Japan. This is the same, the holiday one is the same as the permanent line eyeshadow, the blush and highlighter duo, that's 5.4 grams, which is a decent size for this. And by the way, we do have a mirror in here as well. And then the lip product is exactly half the size of the regular lip gloss. So I think it's a really great set and it's a good deal. It's priced nicely for everything that you get. I think it's actually a bargain. So these have been going in and out of stock. If you're interested in it and it pops up, I would get it. So these things don't wait around very long, and SUQQU never has a ton of stock for all of these holiday items. So if you're interested in something, definitely don't wait too long. Don't hesitate like I've done in the past because you might miss it. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for watching. I would love to know what your thoughts are on this collection, and I will see you very soon. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.